Welcome to Pagan Coffee Talk. Here are your hosts, Oswin and Lord Night. Today's topic is going to be Wicca versus Witchcraft. And I don't know how you're going to tackle this one.
Well, the way I'm going to tackle it is, let's look through the history me and you actually lived through.
Okay.
All right? Now, when Wicca first came about, there was another religious movement or spiritual movement, let me call it more of a spiritual movement going on, known as the New Age movement.
Yeah, so the New Age movement, it gained in popularity in the early 70s.
Right. And it was about like the mid 80s or so. I remember sitting down watching it. There was a show that came on called Out on a Limb with Shirley MacLaine.
Oh, yes.
Which discussed a lot of these concepts. All right. From psychic abilities to crystals to aliens and some other stuff. There was a lot of...
I believe she also tackled reincarnation. And
there were some Eastern philosophies. There was a lot of Eastern philosophies wrapped up into this, and a lot of Tibet, Buddhist, Muslim, and all this different religions kind of being squashed together.
Right.
Along with aliens, and because they were coming up with the whole entire concept that they used in Stargate, that the gods were actually aliens.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that fell into that. Well, this seemed to be a little bit more pleasant because they didn't put it, because when they came out with it, sort of write books for it, they did not want it in the category of the occult, because the occult had so many bad connotations attached to the word.
Right.
So they got the bookstores and stuff to sort of new category called New Age, which all this was funneled under. Well, somebody had the bright idea then to place Wicca in there because it was witchcraft renamed.
Right.
I mean, call a spade on that. And it got placed into the quote unquote New Age category instead of the occult, because your housewives and other people would probably go to the New Age section and look through it before they'd be seen in the occult section.
True.
Back in the day, all right? I mean, because God forbid anybody actually owned any of these books or anything like that.
Right.
You know, trust me, I knew more than one Christian that had a hissy fit because some bookstores were selling the Satanic Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take this into consideration. We also had the whole rock music thing going on at the time too.
Oh yeah, with the backward masking and
the what's her name? Oh God, Al Gore's wife.
Oh, Tipper Gore.
Yeah, doing the whole.
Yeah, she did all the
investigating.
And the mandatory ratings and stuff like that. The explicit labels,
right,
placed on albums and all this other stuff.
No, she was trying to get it just out and out banned.
Well, yeah.
But the compromise was the rating of albums that we have now, kind of like with movies. Don't have a problem with that.
Right.
All right. This is where all this comes into. So when they made up Wicca, again, like I said, it was witchcraft rebranded. And what happened is over the years, more and more of these New Age concepts kept on making their way into Wicca.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, there are concepts in the New Age movement that clashes with Wiccan or occult philosophies.
All right. Like what?
Well, New Age is the people who believe, hey, you can be whatever in the world you are. If you think you're a woman, you're a woman. If you think you're a dog, you're a dog. Whatever you believe to be is true.
Okay.
Your truth is much more valuable than reality or objective truth. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where witchcraft tends to work from objective reality into the spiritual.
Right.
Like most religions do. So now we have this problem because, like, most of the witches I know, more the quote-unquote traditional witches, we believe you have to be trained. You have to be initiated to call yourself a witch.
Right.
And to, especially if you're going to call yourself a member of the traditional witchcraft community. Now, I know a lot of people are out there like, oh, no. That's folk magic. No, let's keep the categories like they're supposed to be. Folk magic is folk magic and not traditional craft. Traditional craft is that occult stuff, regular. Am I making sense there?
I think so. I mean, in some ways, I can kind of see where they're saying that folk magic is traditional because a lot of that magic is handed down from generation to generation.
We follow folklore and traditions, but it's not the linchpin for us to be called a traditional witch.
Well, no, I understand that. I'm just saying I get where that's coming from because just like in families, like Christmas time, everybody's got their own traditions that they do around each holiday. So I could kind of see where folk magic kind of plays into that. And they could say, well, that's traditional because this has been handed down to me from generation to generation. But when we say traditional, when you and I say traditional, we're talking a different type of traditional. We're not talking.
We are talking about traditionally trained, traditionally initiated into a community.
Right.
All right. So again, I hate to be this way. Taya Kennedy's lying out her ass. She claims to be a traditional witch because she follows folk.
Right.
The woman's never been initiated. She did her quote unquote self-initiation, which traditional witches don't believe in.
Right.
We believe that whole initiation, that self-initiation is just you diding yourself in the middle of the night. Nothing special. Does not make you a traditional witch. What makes you a traditional witch is that initiation process, is that you are pulled into the community. You're invited there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You're invited into that community. And once you're invited into that community, you're always invited in that community. Wicca, on the other hand, is just your neighbor across the street. There's no form or anything to it. So you got a lot of people out there, I think, that are calling themselves witches or traditional witches that aren't. They're New Age because they believe all this other crap that we don't. Like most traditional craft does not believe in the threefold law. We don't believe in the karma crap. All right? We do believe that there's an equal and opposite reaction to everything we do, yes. Are you with me on that? And that you cannot invite yourself to a party.
Right.
You know, I'm sorry. We call them party crashers, and wedding crashers and stuff like that. And I'm sorry, I hear a lot of people out there doing that. Oh, yeah, I'm a traditionalist, but I don't follow the traditional rules. Then you're not a traditionalist.
Right.
Wicca is this thing that has become this New Age thing. And it's this free fall for all, whatever in the hell you want to believe, lazy shit is the way I'm looking at it.
Right.
Most of the New Age shit is lazy. I don't have to do nothing but have, good thoughts.
Right. And everything's sort of handed to you.
Everything, yeah. The universe is supposed to be warm and loving and full of rainbows and lollipops and unicorns.
Right.
Don't see that shit happening. This is what I hear from the New Age people. Oh, no, it just needs to feel right to you. That's that whole entire New Agey feel.
Okay.
Am I making sense there?
Yeah.
Do you see any difference between these two?
Well, I mean, I'm one of those people, I kind of use the words interchangeably. You know, I hate to be that way, but it's always been pretty much the same thing to me.
Yeah, but in the 80s and 90s, we did that. We did it without fear because Wicca had not become this.
Well, that's true. I mean, it hadn't become the whole New Age.
Lefty woke crap that it is now. This is what Wicca has become.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, back in our day, yeah, I mean, it was interchangeable.
You know, I mean, because most of these people that are Wicca and all this are also socialism and don't realize that that's just nothing but volunteer slavery. Because, I'm sorry, when the state owns the means of production, that means they own all the grocery stores. They own all the manufacturing. You're only working for one person, and that's the government.
Right.
And then what are you going to do? If you don't like your job there, where are you going to go? This is the same logic that I keep on hearing spouted from the Wiccan community about, there should only be one religion. You have to believe our way. This is just as bad as the Christians.
True.
And the Muslims and all the other ones.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to that, I find it irritating because they will say, we're supposed to be open-minded. We're supposed to be non-judgmental, and you can't tell me how to believe, but then they expect everyone else to conform to their beliefs, and they're doing the same damn thing. And it's like, you people need to shut up because
and then
you're no different.
And then you have those ones out there like the Thorn Moonies and stuff, and as soon as you criticize them, oh, it's sexism.
Yeah,
it's this ism, it's that ism. It's not the fact that people are criticizing. Oh, you cannot criticize me.
Right.
And I'm sorry, this again is an attitude that traditional witches don't have.
Right.
That we see in more of this so-called Wicca, New Age bullshit that's out there. They're LARPing. They have completely ruined Wicca and what it was supposed to be.
Right.
It's no longer what it used to be. And I'm sorry, yeah, it pisses me off, but, all I can do is just sit here and complain and talk about it and see what people, have to say.
Right. And maybe open up a discussion about it. I mean, that's it.
But
that's hopefully where we're going.
I said, I see Wicca moving more has moved so far into the New Age stuff that it's no longer craft related. It's something else.
Right.
It is the religion for I don't want to have to give, I don't want to have to give servitude to a religion or gods or anything like that. I need to be in charge to start off with. I need to be a solitary because, God forbid, I actually listen to anybody else or realize that there might be people out there wiser or more knowledgeable than me and take a little humility there and have to go off and be in charge. Where in craft, we have the philosophy of, we don't want power.
Right.
We don't need it. It's not that big of a deal to us. Setting it back down is just as easy as picking it back up. It's not something we have to use.
True.
Because our message is more important than us. This is not about my ego. It's about the message of craft itself.
Right. Well, and the other thing is I see Wicca with the whole New Age integration. It's become more of a religion for the masses.
Yes.
And the way we were taught is this is not a religion for the masses.
And when it was allowed to the masses like this, it made these people who became these egotistical things of, I'm better than you.
Right.
I'm sorry, we're back out to this. Oh, I'm a fourth generational witch. Oh, I'm a high priestess and blah, blah. When is the message going to be more important than y'all's fucking titles?
Right.
When is the message going to be more important than you making money? No, let's put everything behind paywalls and stuff like that and scam everybody.
Right.
Because it's Wicca. Because it's this New Age and it's bullshit. This is the category that most of our traditionalists throw all the solitaires and the eclectics and all this people out there that they just do this, okay, whatever, that makes no sense to anybody. I'm sorry, and majority of it's pretty damn cringe. This is where we get witch talk a lot.
Right.
And a lot of shit on YouTube.
Yeah. On another topic, glamours. This was one that you threw into the bag, so please explain what you mean by glamours.
We classify a type of spell where we alter people's perception of reality, other people's perception of reality,
okay,
as a glamour.
All right.
This is not like a normal spell, like we would for money or love. Glamours are literally you enforcing your will upon people.
Okay, so it's just a temporary thing. It's not anything lasting.
Right, but there's some conditions we have to meet to get a glamour to work.
Okay, what are those?
All right, because you got to remember, when we talk about glamours, most people think a glamour is so I can get you to think my hair's a different color or you don't necessarily see me.
Okay, right.
All right. While these are altering people's perceptions, they're not actually altering reality. So if you do an invisibility spell, all right, you're really doing what's called a glamour. You're enforcing your will. And it's not to make you invisible, it's less noticed.
Right, okay.
Okay, remember the episode in Doctor Who where they wore the keys because the master took over.
Yes.
And he kept, and every time they would look at it, they would just kind of like make you. That's how a glamour might work.
All right.
It doesn't make you invisible, it just makes you less noticeable.
All right.
Don't get me wrong. There's other things we can do to help that along. So in other words, if we're going somewhere where everybody tends to wear bright clothing, we're going to wear bright clothing too. So we're going to sort of try to dress to blend into the background, per se. But the other part of this is to enforce your will onto other people. And glamours, the reason they fit into a weird category, because they sort of fall under the same category as hypnosis to a certain extent.
How so?
Well, to do a lot of these things that we do, like hypnosis, glamours, even as simple as Reiki.
Okay.
One of the things we have to do to start off with is we have to gain your trust, because we're not going to be able to change your perception if you don't trust us.
All right.
All right. So the more skeptical you are of a person, the less you're going to allow their words to influence you. The less you're actually going to pay them attention.
Right.
You know, people we don't like, shows we don't normally like. There happens to be a podcast I happen to like every evening, and when you're home, you don't like it, so you tune it out.
Right. Yeah.
All right. It's a little bit more political, but you just tune it out. And that's because you sort of trust me in what I'm watching, not to really get all upset about it.
Right.
And because of that, you're able to tune it out. You're able to sort of glamour yourself.
Okay.
But the ways we might go about this, okay, would be like, if I'm at work and I've been working with a particular person for a while.
Right.
Which would make it easier because I already have, and there's already a relationship established there between boss and employee to a certain extent. Sitting there and maybe me looking at that employee one day going, hey, you know what? I got to figure out a thing for this problem. Knowing the whole entire time in the back of my head, I already have a solution to the problem. But my problem is I need more support on my side to get it done.
Right.
So if I can convince him that it's his idea and not mine, he can go to the boss and tell him the exact same plan I want him to tell him.
Okay.
And it's through manipulation. Hence the reason why in the world we're all hyped up always about con artists in craft. Because a lot of us know how to do these glamours. We know how to change people's perceptions.
Right.
Are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody, like I said, the majority of times when people think we do glamours, they don't realize we can shape your view of the world, what people say, and how you take it. We can change your perception of that.
But now,
of that information.
And what you were just talking about, that's more than just a temporary thing, because that person's going to always think that was their idea.
Exactly.
So you are literally
putting a thought in someone's head.
Right. And no, I mean, you are literally warping and changing not just that perception, you are changing that reality for that person.
Exactly.
So that's just the point I'm trying to get across, is that it's not just
temporarily.
It's not just a perception.
I have done this at work, and the people I have done this to this day, as far as I know, still think that those ideas were theirs.
Yeah.
And they weren't. And yet these people still went to our boss and told them the same plan, and the boss knew exactly where in the world that plan came from.
Mm-hmm.
And they walked up to him going, "Oh no, I had this brilliant idea, and me and such and such was talking about it,
Right.
Me and Knight were talking about it, and this is what in the world we came up with."
Right.
Oh, he knows my fingerprints are all over that.
Of course.
And he knows exactly what I'm doing, because the more people you have, more employees you have that support your idea, the greater chance of getting it.
Right.
Now, again, this seems very benign. I hope most people realize that, when I did this at work, I was doing what I thought was in the best interest of the department and my people, not my best interest per se.
Right. You were doing things to benefit the department and whoever was working underneath you.
But does it see how easily someone who knows how to do this could take advantage of people?
Oh, yeah.
Glamours are as simple as doing the following, okay? No, you need a space away from us. black people, no, y'all need a space away from us so y'all can be black without our whiteness there. How am I gaining your confidence there? A, I'm kissing your butt.
Right.
While at the same time denigrating myself. And the whole entire time in the back of your head, you're doing, okay, I'm going to give you your own spot. And then I'm going to give the Asians their own spots and the Hispanics in this country. So everybody has their own spots. Everybody has their own spots.
So guess what? I now have a spot
too,
without anybody else interfering.
Right. And then the majority of these times when people do this, what do? Oh, no, it's going to be Fifth Avenue. That's going to be the white section of town. It's going to be the upper class. It's going to be those better spots that everybody wants to be in.
Mm.
And you voted for it because you were glamored, because you allowed people to manipulate you. It's just the same thing with the whole voting law to a certain extent. I hear, oh, no, these people don't have the resources and stuff to go get licensed. No. What do I hear? Oh, no, we believe people are too stupid to be able to go get IDs.
Right.
So if they're too stupid to do that, we can't let them. And people are sitting there going, no, we need this.
Right.
You're being called stupid and taking an idea. If that's not the sign of a freaking glamour, what is?
Right. And then they're getting you in to vote, and you're voting for exactly what they wanted you to.
I mean, but are you understanding how the glamours work?
Yeah.
And how they can work from such a small scale, made with an employee, to even possibly up to a big scale.
Right. It takes a level of trust, is what you're saying.
Right. You have to lower them into trust. All right. And no matter what, that is required. Because again, this is still along the same lines as hypnosis. You can't hypnotize someone who does not trust you. That's a hurdle you can't get over. I know a lot of people are probably sitting there going, what in the world are you talking about? Because you see these people go up on stage and they get hypnotized in 5 seconds flat.
Right.
Well, that's actually a specific type of hypnosis called stage hypnosis. And basically what the hypnotizer does is have 1 or 2 people in the audience and they get called up on the stage and he hypnotizes everybody. And they're the first 2 to always perform. They do exactly what they're told. Because they did, everybody else thinks they have to too.
Mm-hmm.
And it becomes a self-inducing type scenario.
Okay.
So I honestly believe a witch with enough understanding and all this would get up there and look at him and go, I ain't doing that shit. They'd be the one person you couldn't.
Right.
Because I don't trust you. I don't know. No. Any other questions about this, Glamour? Am I making sense that it's not just your view, but it can also be your view of a thought, of a concept?
Well, yeah, but what I find interesting is, like Hollywood, they've done their own thing with glamours, and they've made it so that it seems like all it is it's just temporarily changing someone's perception.
Well, to a certain extent, you're right. Have you ever went to go watch a movie and you were so into the movie, you remember it starting, you remember the whole entire movie, but for you it seemed like to be almost instantaneous?
Yeah.
And it was over before it seemed to even really get good?
Yeah.
That is that glamour style setting in. You trust the movie people to show you something that you can trust to a certain extent, and you're allowed yourself to get swept up into that.
But my thing is that most people are seeing it that way. What they're not realizing is what you just said earlier, is that it can go beyond.
It can go beyond.
Just temporarily changing someone's perception of something.
Yes. I mean, first of all, if I can get you to believe in something with everything you are, I mean, no matter if it does completely contradict reality whatsoever, if I can convince you of that, you're going to do it. I mean, it's the same thing that these cult leaders do. This is how they get these cult leaders get these people to kill themselves.
Right.
I mean, it's still the same pattern of behavior. You get them in there, you get them to trust you, is that long con of, here, let me borrow you $20 and then I pay you back the very next day. That way, when I ask you for 50, you don't think about it.
Right.
Then you give me 50 and a week later, I automatically pay you back. And I keep on doing that. And each time slowly upping it.
And then before you know it, I need $200.
Or I need a couple of thousand.
And then it's going to be, you know what? I can't pay you back just yet.
Or the person just suddenly skipped town.
Yeah, or they just suddenly skip town, yeah.
These are the same thing con artists do. The only thing that makes witches more dangerous about it is our ability to be able to predict behaviors.
Right.
Knowing and being able to strategize what in the world this person's, especially depending on how well we know the person, how well we can predict what in the world they're going to do next if we say this or this. It's more like playing a chess match.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the other person don't know they're playing a game. You know, I mean, that's some pretty dangerous stuff there. So good for you.
Most definitely. Thanks for listening. Join us next week for another episode. Pagan Coffee Talk is brought to you by Life Temple and Seminary. Please visit us at lifetempleseminary.org for more information, as well as links to our social media: Facebook, Discord, Twitter, YouTube, and Reddit.
We travel down this trodden path, a maze of stone and mire. Just hold my hand as we pass by a sea of blazing pyres. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning breaks. And so it is the end of our days, so walk with me till morning